Let me repeat myself. Majority of the states have one vendor that processes all the live scans for that state for a background check requirement for that particular state. This case here is Georgia. They have one main vendor that does the live scans for them for a state-required background check for that particular state. Now, for this particular showing right here, I believe, because they always change, states would change up in a moment on you, want to know about it. Back in days was called Gemalto, but now they got bought out or owned down by Thales, Thales, I believe. So just keep in mind, these names sometimes might be the same company in essence, but bought out by different organizations or changed the name. And that happens a lot in this industry here. So for the state of Texas, I'm going to share with you guys a website to go to just to see what I'm referring to. But if you want to do a live scan, for the state of Georgia, if you want to do a live scan for the state of Georgia, you would need to contact that particular government entity and see if they approve you to work with them to do live scans for the state of Georgia. If you're looking for the holy grail, the secrets, do it yourself, it's not like that. You have to roll up your sleeves and do your homework and make a bid or request and see if that particular government entity, that government vendor, will approve you to do live scans using their platform for the state of Georgia. So let's make sure I get that out to you guys clearly as possible. And they might not approve you, or they might, but typically looking for buildings where you have an office at, handicap accessible, convenient, nice looking appearance, restrooms available, easy parking, and also not too close to another location they may have already in their network offering live scans for the state of Georgia. Now, if you're in a different state, like for Texas, it's the same thing, but it might be a different vendor. Now, how can you find out for sure? Contact the government entity, particularly sometime maybe the Department of Justice, if it's for your state, or maybe the Secretary of State, and do your homework. Because these names may change later on, and we might talk about one name today, they might change next week or next year, but different name. And you come up, well, you said this is the name a year ago, it would change. So you need to do your homework and see if you want to do this. And then another thing is, if you choose to work with that vendor, you have to take in consideration how you're going to get paid, if they approve you, and how much you're going to get paid, I should say. Typically, in most cases, you might make a couple of bucks. What I mean by a couple of bucks, I mean less than figures I have in my hand right now. Might be $3, $4, $5, $6, depending on your contract with them or what they're willing to pay you to fingerprint people within their network. So you might make a couple of bucks doing it. You have to decide, is this beneficial for your business? Can you make a living off of $3 per person? How many people are going to guarantee you, or if they're going to guarantee at all? Are you doing 2 people a day? Are you doing 20 people a month? Are you doing 15 people, a day? You have to figure that out. Because sometimes, just because the grass looks greener on the other side, it might be spray paint. And seriously, I had a place before, I lived up before, and I saw them spray painting the grass, and it kind of freaked me out. So just because the grass looked greener on the other side, it might be spray paint, and that's the truth. So do your due diligence, do your homework, and look into it to make sure if this is what you really want to do. If you insist on doing a live scan, I understand. But sometimes don't jump on the first thing that you think is good for your business might be just the opposite for your business. Just remember, live scan is just a description of electronic fingerprinting, which is a type of fingerprinting service. It can be manual fingerprinting ink cards, or you might be make a lot more money doing ink card fingerprinting versus a couple of bucks out the blue doing live scan for that particular state if they have one vendor that controls it. You just have to take that consideration. Just have to take control. Hey, I got my bestie up there, and she's right. And she did her homework too. She knows about that. And they will change up their names with you in a minute here. I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to give you a link for the state of Georgia if you have an idea how they got it covered for right now. This is like a quick snapshot I got from the internet a few minutes ago. So I'm going to go ahead and post this in the comments section here. And it might change later on when you choose to go to it. I'm also going to post it here on the website too. So bear with me here. It's a long website address. I'm going to leave it for a few seconds, a few minutes here, for you guys to write it down, or go to the comment section, just go ahead and paste it here. So let me pull up this particular page right now here. Let me share my screen with you guys, so you can see the map what they currently have on their website doing live scans for the state of Georgia. And this is just like a quick snapshot how they got Georgia covered. But guys and ladies, please do your homework. All right, then here we go. I'm gonna remove this link down here now. And this is just an example of what they have. Let me see if I can make the screen a little bit bigger here for you folks. All right, that's pretty much the best I could do with this here for right now. Yep. This gives you like an idea though of the areas that got covered in the state of Georgia right now. But please do your homework, because it could change later on. And we do have members that are certified with the government entity, government vendor for Georgia that does live scans for that location. Our goal was to have the guest speaker come on today for us here, but they were unable to make it due to the last second things that popped up, and we do understand. But we try to get the guest speaker on later on a different date for you guys to talk about doing live scans in the state of Georgia as a vendor for that particular vendor, as a agent for the particular vendor for the state. All right, let me go ahead and close this off here now. This much you guys have an idea how that look like. And what else I want to share with you guys here. You might see this here also sometime for Georgia. I'm gonna add this banner to the window. I'm also gonna post this in the comment section here. Make sure you guys save these links, because I'm not gonna memorize them. I'm gonna tell you that now. I don't plan to memorize all these things here. And let me share this window with you guys too then, so you can see what we're talking about. This is GAPS. They use this right here for people to go online to schedule for these services for different things, for different locations, different agencies. You can log into it if you're an agent for them, or just you're going to register as an applicant to get your fingerprints done in the state of Georgia. Okay, they call it GAPS. And what GAPS pretty much mean is here it goes. Georgia Applicant Processing Services. So they call it GAPS. So if you heard this term before and you live in the state of Georgia, you went to this process here to get your live scan done for the state of Georgia through Thales, Thales, or something might call back in days, I want to say Gemalto. It's still also called Gemalto too, and that is Gemalto, but they're owned by Thales, or Thales, Thales. I'll let you figure that part out. Now let's move forward here. So say you're in a particular state like Georgia and you want to go ahead and do live scans. The first step you need to do is contact the vendor. Find out who the vendor is. Let me see, can I stop that sharing here real fast? Take off my window there. So you need to find out. You hear me typing, huh? It's pretty weird. This was done by the last change on the session for the day. So a lot of things be done again from scratch. So bear with me there. But pretty much we'll find out, wow, the vendor is. See, I did that on purpose. Let me fix that right now. It's a good day, though. It's a glorious day. So excuse my typing how it looked, but pretty much you want to find out who the vendor is. That's very important. You want to find out who the vendor is, where you're able to contact them directly and see or apply if you're able to be a vendor for them. I'm going to go ahead and post that there. In this case right here, it's going to be Gemalto for the state of Georgia, who is owned by Thales, Thales. And I believe Thales took over from them. I'm not sure where that noise came from there. That's kind of irritating. Sorry about that, folks. You want to find out who the vendor is and contact them directly and apply to be an applicant or an agency if you choose to. All right. And they're also going to get a hold of them a different way. Let's see here. Here it goes. I found this here too. In 2019, Gemalto was acquired by Thales, however you want to pronounce it there. So contact them directly if you want to be an agency for that particular entity for the state of Georgia. Now, I'm going to say Gemalto because it's easy for me to say Gemalto. Have other contracts with other states too for the same setup. So you might be in a different state. I think it's also Texas, I believe, or it might be identical. I'm not sure. But typically it's identical or Gemalto that has majority of the state contracts where you're able, where the applicant can go to and get the LiveScan done to the one particular vendor for that state. And like I said earlier, most states have just one particular vendor who has the contract for the LiveScan requirements, the background check requirements for that particular state. I have to take a pause for the calls again. But find out who they are, and for clarification, you see a lot of things like this here saying the website's been moved over to a different website because they're doing changes. You know, this happened back in 2019. They're still making updates today because they have a very large network there. All right, then. We talk about who the vendor is. Step number 2 is contact the vendor. Contact me by contact. We're going to go ahead and go to their website, find out what's required, and apply if you choose to. Now, we had the website found before, but since this new changeover they had recently from one agency to a different agency for the state of Georgia, you have to do your own homework in this particular case and find the current link there. And if you haven't, post in the comment section, let people know about it. But contact them directly and see if you can apply. They might blow you off a couple of times, but be persistent and consistent in your request. If they say no, find out why. You might have a chance to address those issues. You might get approved. Well, like I said before, if you do all this work trying to do a LiveScan, to say you do a LiveScan for Georgia, is it really worth a couple of bucks? It might be. You might have a different service where you're able to bring in more foot traffic to your business because they're here for one thing, but you can upsell them on other things. Credit repair, loan doc signing, notary services, drug testing facility, where the case may be, is other services, immigration services, other services you may have at the same building or that same venue where they come in for a LiveScan for the state of Georgia, and you can upsell them for everything else. So you can see this here as a prepaid marketing tool where you might get a couple of bucks, but it's a free lead. You're not paying for it. They're paying to come over there to see you so you get a chance for you to upsell your other services. So it might be a win-win for you. Now, if they approve you and they get you set up, typically what they do, they'll go ahead and provide their equipment. All right, so keep that in mind. Typically, they'll go ahead and provide their equipment to use their equipment. And you go to their onboarding process to get you set up, start doing LiveScans at your location for the state of Georgia. And they should also provide you guys some type of training. I'm not sure how the training in depth it is, but they're really looking for folks who have experience fingerprinting ahead of time. And they will try to avoid bringing people in brand new, unless it's a good win for them, a strategic location for them, where they go ahead and invest in you. So there is a major investment for them. But they're looking for folks who have prior experience with fingerprinting or currently doing fingerprinting services for other entities. Okay? Another thing to keep in mind then, if you plan to add more tools to your services like LiveScan for the state of Georgia, or you don't have a business yet, but they do approve you that you're doing LiveScans because you moved to Georgia, for example, with prior experience, you have to make sure you follow the guidelines too, not just from their guidelines, also for the city and state, i.e. like a business license, or will they acquire business insurance on your equipment that you can have with them. Some vendors may allow you to use their equipment, but they may force you or require you to have business insurance to cover their equipment while their equipment is at your location. It could be from theft. It could be from damages caused to weather. People call that like act of God, where the case may be. But just be aware that there might be just like you might drop it by mistake. Things do happen, so it may require that there too. They may do other inspections at your location to make sure they are legit. Just you might send them some pictures. It really might not be the location that you're at, or they might see some pictures thinking one thing when they get this completely opposite. Okay. They may do other inspections. Now, for your method of payment, they may pay directly by direct deposit or by check. In most cases, it may be like direct deposit on a monthly basis, if you're lucky. Another thing to take in consideration if you plan to do live scan through a third party, like an example for Gemalto or Thales, you have to go by their schedule. They can have an unbooking system ahead of time that their people go to schedule an appointment, and you have to go to their appointment system to go ahead and see them. So you may have your own online scheduling system for other purposes, but you have to use theirs too. So you might have to manage more than one calendar for seeing clients. That stuff you will figure out as you grow your business with them. Now let's step back for a minute here. Say you realize you decide not to move forward with them, but you still want to do fingerprinting in a particular state, and you want to still say you do live scan. Well, you do have the option to work with vendors where the machine, you can buy a machine from them, and you can use their live scan device and print out on ink cards. It's still called live scan, but really you're just printing out on ink cards. Or there are also cases out there you're able to do live scans in the state of Georgia, but not for the state of Georgia. It could be for a host of other reasons. And I'm quite sure you've seen a whole bunch of videos out there saying you can get these machines from them. You can do this, and this. You may be able to, you're going to hear them say, but they won't guarantee it. Just be careful.